Hey there, Marine81 here. Today I wanted to show you a little trick. You may have already seen this or even done it, perhaps, on a Glock or a different type of weapon system. But I just wanted to pass that on to you just because it is so easy to do and it virtually costs nothing, especially if you've got kids. Now, what that is basically taking a crayon and you're going to be highlighting any kind of engraved polymer, or not even necessarily just polymer, anything that's engraved for numbers or letters or anything like that, and you're filling that with these crayons. Now what I want to show you, I'll show you the difference. This, if you don't know, Glock factory magazines come with, it shows you what caliber it is up top, how many rounds in the windows right here, and it has a number designation above that, and then it has a Glock emblem on the bottom. Every factory mag comes like this. The only problem is, even though it's helpful that they put this stuff on here, they do etch that out for so you can look at it and see how many rounds you got. You can see the brass through the window. But the numbers that they put on this, or because it's black on black, you really can't see it real well. I mean, especially if you're looking dead on and it doesn't have direct light, like as you can see right there. Now, a little trick to overcome that is, now you don't have to use white. I just prefer white. You see how much easier that is to make out. I mean, you can't even see them really. I mean, unless you get it in the right lighting, which I'm trying to do, but I'm failing, I think. There you go, you can kind of make it out. But as soon as you get a shadow over it, boop, it's gone. So you can see how much better it is to see visibly. This is part of the reason why I like white also, is that it pops really well against that black. But, I mean, you can use any color that you like. It doesn't really matter. Now, this is remarkably simple to do. I'll kind of show it to you real quick. I left one of these, I just did this by the way, so I left one of these blank so you can see me actually go through the process. Now what you're going to need is any type of crayon, doesn't matter, whatever color you want to use, yellow. The only thing that I will say is, like, just be careful of anything that's too dark, like green, for instance, is one of those that some of the greens, if it's too dark, it won't show up really well. So you want to use something that's very bright, yellow, white, pink, if you like that. Do a breast cancer awareness mag. There you go. Use a pink for that. The other things that you're going to need is some type of card, like plastic, just a plastic card, old credit card, something like that. A toothpick, or something really fine that has like a real fine point to it like that. And then you're also going to need a rag. Just any type of rag will work. Alright, and I will show you exactly how you do this. Now bear with me, folks, because I'm trying to do this around the camera. But it's really easy. The only thing that you need to make sure that you're focusing on when you're doing this is when you're actually rubbing it on here, you're going to want to go in all kinds of different directions to get that to embed itself inside the grooves in there. You can't just go one way because it won't fill it. You have to go perpendicular to whatever, however the number is situated. And I'll show you. You just kind of go over it like this. And you can see it where it's filling in and where it's not. So you can kind of adjust how you're rubbing that in there. See? And that's it. It's filled in there. I go ahead, usually what I do, I don't stop periodically, I just do the whole mag and then I'll go back over it. Now I leave the rounds in these because I think it kind of helps keep some of that wax from falling down inside the magazine. Just be kind of, cautious of that as you're doing this. The little numbers are a little trickier. You got to kind of finagle them a little bit. But it's not that bad. Just kind of keep going over it in different directions. And once you do a mag or two, you'll sort of get the hang of it, and you can kind of speed up the process. It's not that bad. Now, you do have to, once you wipe these off, you scrape them and wipe them off, you might have to go back over some of them that didn't quite get filled in all the way, just sort of repeat the process. But normally it gets in there all right, as long as you're not just going in one direction. And don't worry about the wax getting everywhere. It comes right off. You might see like a little bit of a haziness film on it around some of the areas where you've done this. But don't worry about it. Most of it comes completely off. You can't even tell. As you can tell, I don't know if any of you could even see where I had rubbed this stuff off. Now, I've seen some guys, this is kind of a cool idea also. It's a little bit more time-consuming. Excuse me. But I also have seen some guys to where they'll start out at the bottom here with, say, white, you know, or a green maybe, and then as they go up, as they work their way up, they'll change colors. Like, say, they'll have the 15th round through the 12th as green for go, like you're full, and then they'll do, like, say, the next two go from 11 to 8, and they'll do orange, and then the last two from 6 to 4, they'll do red. So that way, when you're looking at it, it's a little bit more of a visual cue to, you know, you can still see the brass, obviously, but it's a little bit more of a visual aid to, you know, okay, I'm still pretty full, I'm getting there, I'm almost out, I need to, you know, do an admin change, or, you know, just be mindful of how many rounds I'm throwing after that point. So there's the numbers. The bottom of the mag right here is a little bit easier, as I said. The larger the text is, it's a little bit easier. And a lot of that, honestly, is you'll see when you do this, when you're rubbing it out, when you're wiping it with a rag, the smaller, real fine text, hold on a second, let me get down here. The smaller, real fine text has a tendency to, you rub it out of the groove. So it's a little bit more challenging, but okay, so there's that. It's all filled in. Now, as you might have guessed, just take your card here and kind of scrape off as much of that excess as you can, because it's just going to make it a little easier for you when you go to wipe it off. You don't have to kind of try to buff all that wax off of there. It doesn't take as long. And as I said, you might have to go back over this in a couple of areas to get some of that off. Now there's the majority of it. And then this is what you use a toothpick for. You can see along the edges here where it gets caught. And then also in the windows themselves, it kind of embeds itself inside that ring. So just take your toothpick there. Sorry, folks, I know this is probably kind of boring, but I'm just wanting to show you the whole process here. That's good enough. I mean, as long as you're getting the majority out of those cracks, and then just go into the eyelets here and make sure you're getting all that out of there as well, because the rag won't really get that too easy. Now, I mean, you could also take your time with this and be a little bit more careful and to not get this in there if you really wanted to, but all right, there's that. You pick it all out of there, and then just take your rag. Get some of the stuff out of the way. Then just take your rag and start wiping it off. And once you get the majority of it off there. So majority of it's clean. I'll just go back and kind of look and see which ones need a little bit of work. And as you can see, like the 11, 13, and 15, there's a few of them right in this area that look like they need to gone back over. This is just kind of a rush job. I didn't want to take too long doing that. But I mean, as long as you're taking your time with it and make sure you're filling in those holes the way they're supposed to, and you might have to do this maybe twice, but that's it. After a second time, it'll be in there just fine. So I'll go ahead and do this real quick for you. See, a lot of that was probably because I wasn't really paying as close of attention as I should have been when I was filling those in. So just do that. Go over and get some of that excess off. Actually, I got some on the side there again. There you go, that's better. Alright, so there you have it. So now all of these, as you can see, have that done. I also did it to the gun itself. You can do this on the slide. I have this tape over the front where it has the Glock emblem, or I would have done that also. But I just did the 40 part, and then on the other side I did the little tiny Glock emblem on this side. Now, this one right here, because this is so fine, is a little bit hard to do. Anything, even if it's not a Glock, if it's real small engraving like that, like really fine work, you might have to play around with it a little bit to try to get it to fill in right, but it's not too bad. There you go. And as I said, you can play around it, do all kinds of crazy stuff with different colors. But I just wanted to share that with you guys. I thought it was a pretty neat little quick trick. And as always, thanks for watching, guys. Take care. Purple Marine 81 out.